Meeting come to order, please. Roll call, if you'll press your present button or your absent button if you're not here.
Arrow. Hit the arrow.
That's it. Record the roll. Thank you, ma'am. Staff announcements?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to thank everybody for their cooperation with us. It was somewhat unfortunate that we weren't able to put a quorum together on Valentine's Day. I guess that kind of shows where the planning commissioner's hearts might be. But having said that, I've been doing this about 22 years now, and I think that's the third time in 22 years we haven't made a quorum, and that's a pretty good record. So, again, I apologize for any inconvenience that might have presented to anybody tonight or last Thursday night. Secondly, Grassland Special Area Plan is moving forward at a pretty good pace. We had a public input meeting back on January 31st. We had 64 participants. And our second public input meeting has been tentatively scheduled for March 18th. Thirdly, we have a couple of withdrawals, item 36 and item 37. Item 36 being Saddle Springs Phase 2A Section 7 revised, and item 37 being the Sparkman Large Lot Easement subdivision. There are a number of revised staff reports sitting in front of you that you should reference, 13, 14, 30, 34, and 38. And other than that, I don't think I have any other announcements. Do I, Mike? Can you think of anything? All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Consideration of the minutes, January 17, 2013. Any corrections? I'm sorry? There's a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record the vote. The motion carries. Thank you. Joe, is there any old business?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Consideration of the consent agenda. Any commissioner wishing to pull a consent agenda item for separate discussion, please say so now. Otherwise, we'll take it as a whole. Anyone? We'll take it as a whole. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will begin with item 3, Arrington Retreat, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $51,570. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 4, Bell Chase, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $100,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 5, Bell Chase, Section 2, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $66,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 6, Bell Vista, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Treatment Disposal System, $64,500. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 7, Brins Valley, Section 3, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $20,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 8, CartCon 1, Airsoft Fields, Performance Bond for Landscaping, $21,492. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months, and require replacement be done within this time frame. Item 9, Chardonnay, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Treatment Disposal System, $43,500. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 10, Kings Chapel, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Treatment Disposal System, $151,642. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 11, Kings Chapel, Section 2A, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $11,500. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 13, Kings Chapel, Section 3A, Maintenance Bond for Water, $8,500. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 13, Kings Chapel, Section 3A, Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $65,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 14, Kings Chapel, Section 3A, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $126,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 15, Parish Presbyterian Church, maintenance bond for landscaping, $2,500. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 16, Saddle Springs, Section 1, maintenance bond for primary treatment disposal system, $66,657. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 17, Saddle Springs, Section 1, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $34,500. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 18, Saddle Springs, Phase 2A, Section 4, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $4,928. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 19, Saddle Springs, Phase 2A, Section 5, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $14,800. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 20, Saddle Springs, Phase 2A, Section 6, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $6,600. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 21, Saddle Springs, Phase 2A, Section 7, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $14,800. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 22, Silver Stream Farm, Section 4A, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $10,000. Recommendation is extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 23, Silver Stream Farm, Section 6A, performance bond for landscaping, $8,241. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 24, Silver Stream Farm, Section 6A, performance bond for water, $32,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 25, Silver Stream Farm, Section 6A, performance bond for sewer services, $51,000. Recommendation, convert to maintenance amount of $15,000 and extend for a period of 1 year or until confirmation of final paving/casting adjustments and formal acceptance of the sanitary sewer. Item 26, Silver Stream Farm, Section 6A, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $100,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 27, Stag's Leap, maintenance bond for wastewater treatment system, $64,740. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 28, Watkins Creek, Section 1, maintenance bond for wastewater treatment system, $105,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Watkins Creek, Section 3A, maintenance bond for wastewater collection system, $33,301. Recommendation, release the bond. Dropping down to item 34 under final plats. Final plat approval for Arrington Retreat, Section 2, containing 43 lots and 18.18 acres, located off Nolensville Road in the 5th Voting District. This plat is in order. The staff recommends approval with the following stipulations. 1, the posting of performance bond amount of $375,000 for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, the posting of performance bond amount of $2,500 for water improvements as specified by Nolensville College Grove Utility District. 3, the posting of performance bond amount of $150,000 for the wastewater collection system. 4, submission of HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney for planning and environment. The approved HOA documents must be recorded at the same time as the recording of the final plat. 5, execution of stormwater maintenance agreement, submission of operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 6, the applicant provide 2 copies of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plane Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat. And item 37, final plat review for Stag's Leap, Section 3B, containing 26 lots and 27.76 acres located off Arno Road in the 4th Voting District. This plat is in order, and staff recommends approval of the final plat as well as the variance request with the following stipulations. 1, the posting of performance bond amount of $379,000 for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, the posting of a maintenance bond in the amount of $135,000 for water improvements as specified by Millcrofton Utility District. 3, the posting of performance bond in the amount of $66,300 for the wastewater collection system. 4, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement, submission of operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 5, that the applicant provide 2 copies of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plane Coordinate System prior to signature and the recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of the consent? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? I see none. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Recorded vote. The motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 30, this is under our public hearings. For those of you in the audience, our procedures are as follows. For a public hearing, staff will read the staff report. At the conclusion of that, you'll be invited to come to the podium. If you would, at that time, give us your name and address. We would appreciate it. Keep your thoughts brief, and when you hear yourself repeating yourself, you're done. Is that fair? Site plan and conditional use review for adventure dogs, okay. Boarding, daycare, and grooming animal boarding facility on 4.78 acres located at 7157 Bainey Road in the 1st voting district. Did I pronounce that right? Bainey? Okay, I was close. Staff?
Mr. Chairman, we are reading from a revised report which is on your desks in front of you. The applicant is requesting approval of an animal boarding facility in the rural zoning district. The animal boarding facility use is permitted as a conditional use under the 1988 Williamson County zoning ordinance and must be reviewed by this body at a public hearing. The parcel in question is located on Bainey Road, and surrounding properties range in size from 5 acres to 54 acres. Adjoining properties are used primarily for agricultural or residential purposes. The applicant is proposing to construct a roughly 3,000 square foot building to be utilized as an animal boarding facility. The facility will also include a fenced outside play area. According to the applicant's letter of intent, she will provide long-term boarding, daily daycare, and dog grooming. When complete, the kennel will have 12 runs, which can accommodate up to 28 dogs. The applicant has provided plans for soundproofing the building. Bulk and performance standards have been met. A landscaping plan has been submitted and approved by staff. The Williamson County Highway Department has visited the site and indicated that site distance is adequate for the proposed use. At the time of this writing, the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management is still evaluating this request. As approval by the Department of Sewage Disposal Management is not expected by meeting date, staff recommends that this item be deferred until the March 14, 2013 meeting. Additionally, between now and the March 14th meeting, the applicant must demonstrate to staff's satisfaction that the application will meet Section 4520S of the 1988 zoning ordinance regarding noise at the property line. 3 additional things, Mr. Chairman. Sitting before you are the general standards for conditional use permits from the 1988 zoning ordinance, the specific standards for animal boarding facilities, as well as correspondence that staff has received regarding this item.
Thank you, sir. Anyone in the audience wish to make a comment on this agenda item, you're invited to do so now. If you would, come to the podium and give us your name and address, I would appreciate it. Ms. Kleiner, scoot that way just a little bit and get in front of that mic. Thank you, ma'am. That's better.
Okay, I live at 7190 Bainey Road in Fairfield. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you about my concerns of a proposed dog kennel at 7157 Bainey Road. Photos of the property lacks the buffer, and currently there are gullies, water will run off. It's possibly a problem.
Is it on? Shout at us, we won't get mad.
Okay. The photo shows the property that lacks the buffer screen currently there, the gullies where the water runs off, the other part, and the possible problems of cars entering and leaving the property, cars coming around the curves and the road. There are many areas of impact such as commercial business will have on our residential commercial community. Groundwater pollution for our well water resulting from washing soil contamination from washing the outdoor runs and her soil that will run onto a runoff gully. Noise pollution, the potential of 28 dogs. cause the situation to lie in competition with each other, where they are playing or disagreeing. Odor, without treating the surrounding soil with undesirable chemicals, it will be difficult to keep the smell down. Impact on their property values. As our homes near this facility sell at a low price, will tend to reach out and affect all of us. I'm afraid I can picture a potential home buyer riding down the road, hearing dogs and seeing a large building reserved to pay what they would otherwise be a market value. A low sales set, comparable price for all of us and our other homes in the neighborhood. I also fear that there are some customers that dogs may get loose in the community. Ms. Williamson, I'm not sure, walks several of her personal dogs down the road unleashed nearly every day, and they constantly come in yards and on porches. These are just a few of my concerns. I feel strongly about my home and my neighborhood, and I don't feel commercial business such as this conforms to our residential way of life. This will have a strong enough impact on our community to forever change our lifestyle. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And, yes, some neighbors who can share their concerns that come down tonight. I have some pictures here if anybody wants to see them.
Hello, my name's Jerry Mangler. Jerry Mangler's my name. I live next door to Michelle. It's 7153 Laney Road. Our property lines are bordered. And my concern is basically what you just heard. About odor, dogs barking. I'm also concerned about, I know it's been said that the county was out to survey and I guess perk the ground. Now that property that next to me is mostly a ditch. I mean, it's not much playground to it. I'm concerned about runoff, water, septic, and all that. I'm concerned about the value of my property. This is a residential neighborhood. You know, I don't know how big a business we're talking about. I know there's one down on 96 highway, huge place where you keep dogs. I mean, how big is this thing gonna get? We don't know. But, we are concerned. That's all we got. We're poor people. So, I appreciate y'all consider this like it's going next door to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Michelle Westside, and I am the owner of 7157 Baby Road. And I have come to try to rest any fears that might be from my neighbors. And I appreciate my neighbors coming out. I love the road that I live on. I don't want to disturb anybody. It's peace and quiet. Like my neighbor said, I do have 4 dogs, and I don't want them barking at night. I don't want them barking ever, really, to disturb anybody. So I try to keep that under control. My dogs are inside at night. They're not allowed to bark, and I don't intend to let anybody who comes to my kennel outside at night either, other than to just take them out to go potty, and then they're back in. And my building will be insulated so that it will be soundproofed to small dogs, could I fit 2 in each of the 10 kennels and then 4 in 2 of the bigger kennels? Because I have big dogs, I need to provide space for other people who have big dogs. So, more than likely, the average number that I'm gonna have is between 12 and 15. That's probably about the most I'll have on an average given day. The maximum 28 is if I have everybody full, and I just don't see that happening, because not a lot of people have 4 dogs like I do. So, I don't see that happening. But just in case, that's available. I don't know if my neighbors understand the zoning that's happened. If I can start this business, my property is zoned rural, but as far as I know, the rest of everybody's property has been rezoned as of January 1st to the MGA 5. So I'm not a commercial business, I'm still technically rural business. And this is not gonna open up any opportunities for more commercial businesses because of me. It would be because the county has rezoned the land. So I hope that doesn't affect anybody's property, because I live out there because I want to live in a rural area. I don't want to have, housing tracts and subdivisions put in either, because I like living in the country. So hopefully that will help everybody else to feel more at ease that my business is not going to be bringing in tons more commercial businesses. As for the property values, as everybody knows, in the last 5 years, all of our values have gone down. So I don't feel that this business would be something that contributes to that any more than just the regular economy is doing. It's not going to be 3,000 square feet. It's only going to be approximately 1,400 square feet. It's not going to be a tin building. It's going to be brick. It's going to be, like I said, insulated. And my neighbor brought up my dog's getting loose constantly and running onto her yard, and I think it's happened twice. I was walking, one of them saw her cat, and they run up on the porch, didn't do anything to the cat. They were looking for the food that the cat was eating. So I put the dog back on the leash and we walk on and we're fine. So it's not constantly, that things are happening like that. It's a little bit of an exaggeration. And I understand their fears about the noise. I get it. I do. And that's why I'm going to do everything that I can with the fence. If I have to put in more bushes, on the property line to keep the noise down. If there's a dog who's a nuisance, put them back in the kennel so that they're not heard. I don't want to sleep at night having barking dogs. I understand their fears, but I'm just trying to start a business and be able to support myself should something happen with my other job, which was in jeopardy. So this is just my plan B, and I love dogs, and that's what I'm trying to do. So that's.
My name is William Coward, 7145 Bain Road. My wife's probably Nate Coward. Been there for many years. We bought because, as I understand it, that area was designed for residential. That's why people bought. That's why people bought 5 acres, 200,000 square feet. So I like to reiterate some of the things you said. There's other places to run a business. I was in business for myself for many years. I don't begrudgingly it off. But this is a residential area. I'm concerned about the well water. I'm concerned about the noise. I like to live in peace and quiet on Bain Road. And with 28 dogs, it's not going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name's Annie Biggers, and I live at 7165 Bain Road, next door to this lady. We have a creek that runs in behind our house. I don't want the runoff to run to the creek. She also says her dogs don't get out at night time. When we carry our dogs out, we have 2. We have a boxer and a Boston Terrier. We carry them out at night to potty. As soon as we walk out our front door, they're sounding off. And here they go. Then the neighbors up the street, their dogs sound off this way. Then Arrington and Arrington go out, there it goes, sound off. So we don't want all this down on our property. Like I said, we're quiet. We moved to Fairview from Nashville. And I'm originally from Fairview. I grew up down there. In fact, my mother gave me the property when she passed away. So it's been in my family almost 100 years. So I don't want none of this stuff. I got out of the noise in Nashville, and I want it quiet. And we don't bother nobody, and we don't want them bothering us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Last call? You just barely made it.
No, but I couldn't sit there any longer. My name is Paulette Coward, and I'm at 7145. My husband just spoke, but there was one concern that I had, that if for some reason this business didn't go, then if she was to sell her property, would that business or whatever it was zoned for or whatever, would that be grandfathered in for somebody else to put something in?
Counsel?
It would be grandfathered as far as the use. They couldn't necessarily come in there and do a different type of business, but could possibly continue this business under a new owner.
And it could grow, expand it, things like that?
The zoning ordinance and the state statute addresses whether nonconforming uses are expanding and how much and that type of thing, but there is that possibility.
See, that is really our concern, is what happens if she ever moves, or, and the noise. You know, we have, excuse me, we have 5 acres that we have underground fencing for our dogs. We love critters too. Our dogs don't get out of the yard, but we can't prevent other dogs from getting in our yard. But you have, she will be 3 houses down from us, this kennel. You have the dogs barking. Of course, Sky's gonna be barking and trying to go through the door. And I mean, I understand she wants to have a business. I don't want to have bad relationships with the neighbors or anything like that. But you have to please consider, this is our residence, this is our home. We don't want to drive down the road and see a business there. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Last call for the second time. Anyone? We'll close the public hearing at this time. Thank you. Any commissioner got a question to the staff? Comment? Mr. Crohan?
The question I have, Mr. Chairman, is in a rural area, a commercial business requires 5 acres or 200,000 square feet. It also says in there that if a residence requires that type of the 5 acres. Now, if with this we're combining a business and a residential, does that require 10 acres or is 5 acres required?
The 5 acres is required, Mr. Crohan.
So you could have 2 businesses. I mean, you could have a business and a residential, or 2 residentials on 5 acres when it was 5 acre zoning. I don't understand
You can
that.
have 1 residence on it, and this business will be the secondary use on the property under the previous zoning ordinance and under the current zoning ordinance.
Under the previous ordinance, if it was a residential business, it spells that out, but not a commercial business.
This use was permitted within the rural zoning district under the 1988 zoning ordinance. Ms. Westeen's property meets the minimum lot size requirement for the rural zoning district. So she would be permitted to have this business on the property if this body chooses to approve it.
Well, okay, I disagree with that, but the other question I have is on the property here, the map that we've been given, it doesn't show how far off the property line this kennel will be.
We can have them place that on there. I believe it's 35 feet.
Okay, 35 feet with a maximum of 28 dogs, and then a run that they can be out during the daytime. There's no way that you could soundproof this business.
We would leave that to the applicant to demonstrate how she plans on soundproofing it at the property line as required by the ordinance.
Okay, but now, it's mentioned in here in the write-up that everything I've seen talks about soundproofing at night. People live there 24 hours a day. So she would have to prove how she could keep it soundproof for 24 hours, is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. It says on here that, on the write-up, it shows water as city water, and that's not correct. This is wells and springs in this area. So any runoff possibly will contaminate the wells or the springs.
You want to answer that, Floyd?
Any other comments, Don?
That's my comments.
Thank you, sir. Pete?
Yes, it's on the plat. It says setback all property lines 150 foot. And just rough guessing it out, and by what Aaron said, that's not completely the truth. If she'd move it up next to her residential house, I wouldn't be opposed to it too much, but sticking out on the edge of other properties, I would be opposed to it.
Mr. Mosley, the site plan that you're looking at has not been revised, as staff is recommending this be deferred. The applicant was waiting to revise it.
Aaron, I think this is an opportunity for this commission to express their concerns, and I think that's a very valid concern, the location of that to Mrs. Bigger's property. I mean, it's jammed right up next to the corner on 4.78 acres. That's the other question I had while y'all thinking about yours. You have to have 5 acres?
The minimum lot size within the rural zoning district was 200,000 square feet.
Not 5 acres?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay, that was one of my questions. The applicant, could you come back to the podium just a second? I'm confused as to how you operating. You operating with outdoor kennel runs or an indoor facility?
It's both. The outdoor kennel run will be attached to the building with doors that dogs can go out into the chain link fence.
Runs.
Little run. And then there'll also be an area where I can take them out to play.
So you can't control the noise?
Not 24 hours, but I've also brought up the point that almost everybody on our road has dogs, and they're barking, and they've even said it themselves.
Well,
They're barking all the time, so.
28 compared to 2 is a
And like I said,
hugely different number.
I do not ever even think that I'll get anywhere near 28.
I had a couple more. So 28 is the max, unless you decide to put more in a kennel?
No. 28 is the most that I could ever even.
Did you say that in your letter of intent?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
28 was the max, but like I said, that would have to be 10 people with 2 dogs each and 2 people with 4 dogs each, because you don't mix dogs from different homes and families. So I just don't ever see that happening.
I understand.
look at
Okay.
it as the max.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else have a question of the applicant while she's up here? Robin?
I don't have a question to her.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
I had a comment.
You can. You're the applicant. Just,
Okay. It has to be 200 feet off the road, and that's why it's back in that corner. And I've got it set up to be, right now, 25 feet off the property line. If I need to move it further off the property line, I can. The only thing that is an issue is that I have power lines that run through my property. So I have to be mindful of where it's at, because I cannot go underneath those for sewer reasons and also getting in the way of the power lines.
oh, I see it now. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Robin, you had a comment?
I just wanted to say that I applaud you for wanting to have your own business. I have my own, and it's a great reward, but I also concur with Don and what Pete was saying as well, that just their concerns. I just wanted to say those would be my concerns too. And the fact that it is kind of pushed back there in the back of the corner, right off the property line to the different residential homeowners as well. And I have 2 dogs, and I love them as two. They do bark, and they bark more when other dogs are around as well.
Other comments? Tommy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the handout staff gave us, Division 4520S, and specifically concerning animal boarding facilities. Item 1, animal facilities must be situated so that no noise can be heard or odors detected at the property line. That's going to be pretty tough to meet. And that's 24 hours a day, right?
That's correct.
With that location?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Oh,
Yeah,
I understand.
Ain't gonna happen.
Aaron, I had one other question. You gave us a division that applies to that. It says it can be within 1,000 feet of a subdivision. Does that sound?
It cannot be within 1,000 feet of a subdivision, and I've measured it out, and there aren't any subdivisions as defined by the ordinance.
Okay.
Or by the
It says
subdivision
Roger Bigger
regulations.
subdivision on my plat. That's not what it is.
It's not a subdivision as we define it,
Okay.
where it was platted.
I assumed that was it. I want to make sure. Thank you. Other comments? Mr. Kane?
I've got a question. Is there a possibility of moving the kennels closer to the center and moving the office behind the kennels and extending that drive?
That would be up to the applicant to answer that. I can't answer that.
As was previously stated, there are some gullies and hills that I have my property on, and so if I moved it closer to my residence, I would be under the power lines and in the gully.
I'm talking about moving the kennels due south.
It would be under the power lines.
I don't see the power line.
No, actually, it would parallel the power.
No, it'd be parallel, I mean perpendicular to the power line.
Slopes that it's going down. Doesn't matter. Yeah, then if we need to look at moving it there down further.
I don't think that would hurt you. You'd be further off from that north property line, about equal distance off the west property line. And your drop-off area would be where the kennel sits right now. It means extending that road a little bit, but it's gravel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, John. Anything else? PJ?
And I got a question for you. Under the old zoning ordinance, if the septic system was worked and the county agreed to it, this would be a project that would be recommended by staff.
That is correct. If it did meet all of the requirements, we would probably recommend approval of it.
Under the new zoning ordinance, it just doesn't fit at all.
This is no longer a permitted use within the MGA 5 zoning district.
This piece of property, will it ever be in the MGA 5 zoning?
It is in the MGA 5 zoning district. The applicant submitted her request prior to December 31st of last year.
Okay, thank you.
Susan, I'm sorry. I was looking on my map up here.
I just wanted to point out too, under the general standards for conditional uses, at letter C, the proposed use shall not result in any substantial or undue adverse effect on adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, other things, coming on down to environmental impacts, either as they now exist or they may be in the future be developed as a result of the implementation of the provisions and policies of the comprehensive plan. And it just seems like this use, I mean, I'm always in favor of people having their own businesses, but I think it's just going to have a substantial and an undue adverse effect on these properties as they exist now or as they may in the future be developed.
Susan, anyone else? Anyone else? Comments? Tommy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff has asked, recommended deferral on this, and I probably in order in my mind, particularly as it relates to the sound and odor concerns that we've heard not only from the residents, but as outlined in Division 4520S 1. And with that, I move to defer until March 14th meeting.
There's a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? None? Prepare to vote? Jack?
I mean, come back at the March 14th, she's got to show us how she's going to soundproof.
You can't, Jack, with outdoor kennels.
Well, and that's my problem with deferring. Staff recommended deferral, but I don't see we're putting off for 30 days or thereabouts.
Then you need to vote no.
Okay.
Other comments? Tommy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jack, my only concern is that, we give it due diligence. The staff has asked that, whether they have a plan or some, method of achieving this. I'm not sure, but if they ask this, I assume they have a plan, but I think we need to, at least in fairness to the applicant and to us and to the staff, let them, do what they can and at least try to come up with some way of measuring, the sound and things. I mean, you're not going to be, certainly odor's not going to be applicable at this time, but certainly you can do some things as relates to sound from that point and measure, sound levels. So I say let's give them a fast shot and let's see what they come up with.
Okay, I agree with that.
Will we run into any time problems with that?
In what respect, Pete?
Time problems.
I don't follow you.
No, we're in good shape.
As far as
March is
automatic approval?
February's a good month.
No.
It's only 28 days.
Okay.
No, and not if it's back next month. Mr. Kane?
I don't think the owner has the capability of deciding how to soundproof that area. She'd have to get expert advice on the thing, and I'm sure that's not very cheap right now. So I think that she can probably come up with a scheme by getting somebody to help her with that. That's the only thing that I think that we should be looking at right now. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion with respect to the motion? No one? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Susan, you got yours working? John? Do it again. Record the vote. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item, I've lost my agenda. Thank you. Agenda item 31, continuing public hearings. Amendment to the 2013 Williamson County zoning ordinance as it relates to setbacks for non-conforming lots, new section 10.06. Staff?
On May 14th, 2012, the Board of County Commissioners adopted the update to the zoning ordinance, an official zoning map, and established an effective date of January 1st, 2013. While administering the zoning ordinance, staff noted the omission of the setback requirements for non-conforming lots, i.e. those lots that do not meet the minimum lot size requirements of the subject zoning district. As a result, staff has drafted the attached amendment, which will govern the setbacks for all non-conforming lots based upon whether the lot was platted, unplatted, or created prior to the enactment of zoning regulations. This amendment will become Section 10.06, and the existing Section 10.06 will become Section 10.07. All internal references to the tables within the existing Section 10.06 will be renumbered to correspond with the new Section 10.07. Staff recommends approval of this amendment. Staff also recommends that the attached resolution be forwarded to the County Commission for adoption.
It's a public hearing. Let me do that first, guys. Please. Anyone in the audience wish to make a comment on this very, very vital and important ordinance? It's fairly innocuous, folks. Anyone? Anyone would like to just speak? Come up to. We'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Get in there quick, Chairman. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Oh, excuse me. I did it again. Been doing this too long. Prepare to vote, Linnea. Record the vote. Oh, Pete? Now you can record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Gentlemen, item continuing public hearings. Agenda item 32 is amendment to the 2013 Williams County zoning ordinance regarding the inspection of non-traditional wastewater collection systems, section 22.08B2. Staff?
The proposed amendment seeks to eliminate a requirement that, due to a change in circumstances, would be impossible to enforce. Staff has learned that Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation lacked the personnel necessary to inspect the construction of collection systems for these facilities. Under the current regulations, TDEC, as well as the design engineer and utility provider, would have to confirm the installation is satisfactory in order for the performance bond securing these improvements to be converted to a maintenance bond. This amendment simply removes TDEC's involvement in the collection system inspection. Both the design engineer and utility provider will still be required to confirm the system's satisfactory installation. As a final note, TDEC will continue to inspect the treatment disposal aspects of the non-traditional systems. The wastewater authorities endorsed this proposed amendment at their February meeting. Staff recommends approval of this amendment. Staff also recommends that the attached resolution be forwarded to the County Commission for adoption.
Public hearing again, Jack. You just don't want me to let the public participate. Anyone wish to make a comment? The public hearing is open at this time. If anyone wish to make a comment, you're invited to do so now. Anyone? Last call. Public hearing's closed. Jack, you have the floor. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? I hear none. Prepare to vote. Vote now. I may have punched no. Let's see how it comes up. Holly? Will it not do it? You got it. Record a vote. I did. This finger's too wide. That was a yes vote, by the way, if there's any questions. Final plats 33, final plat review for Arrington Retreat, Section 1 revised, containing 47 lots on 135.56 acres located off Knowlesville Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
The preliminary plat for this development was originally approved in January of 2004, extended in December of 2005, revised in December of 2006, extended again in November 2008, and revised in December 2012. The applicant is now requesting approval of a revised final plat for this section in order to relocate Lot 115 to Section 2 and in its place establish an amenity center. The final plat is consistent in layout with the approved preliminary plat. The plat is in order, and staff recommends approval with the same stipulations that were established in conjunction with the original approval on December 10th of 2009, and the additional stipulation that signatures of all lot owners within Section 1 must be affixed to the revised final plat prior to recording.
Thank you, ma'am. Wow. Any comments, questions of staff? Rude. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. We'll go in from this side. Vote now. Record a vote. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 34 was on the consent. Agenda item 35 is final plat review for Saddle Springs Phase A, Section 1 revised, containing 3 lots on 4.20 acres located off Bethesda Road in the 3rd voting district. Staff?
The applicant is requesting approval of a revised final plat for Phase 1, Section 1 of the Saddle Springs Estates subdivision in order to transfer ownership of portions of lots 1B and 1C from AGJ Properties LLC, the developer, to the Saddle Springs Estates Homeowners Association of the Estates. These changes do not affect the configuration or boundaries of other sections of the development. These changes do not result in a net loss of space. In fact, there is no existing open space on this section. These changes result in an increase in space. Accordingly, staff views these changes minor in nature and approval is recommended.
Question to staff. Motion?
Wait a minute. The discussion.
Motion made and seconded. Linnea, is it working?
It's on the wrong one.
Voice vote, please. We're going to voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Thank you. 36, 37 withdrawn. 38 was on consent. Other establishment of the bond amount for Dolan's commercial venue located at Malachi Lane in the 5th voting district. Staff?
A site plan for this use has been reviewed by staff. Staff is currently awaiting corrections to the site plan prior to approval being granted. However, due to the cost of installing the required landscaping and pursuant to Section 1607 of the 2013 zoning ordinance, the landscape bond must be established by the Planning Commission. Staff recommends the establishment of a performance bond for landscaping in the amount of $8,800.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Motion to adjourn is in order. We're out of here. Thank you.